I'm CJ Tuor. I'm a editorial lead and writer at Jackbox Games.
I'm Ryan Digiorgi. I'm a creative director at Jackbox Games.
All right, so you guys are here at PAX. You're hanging out with the people, playing your games. You just did a panel, and you were talking about some of the new games that you have coming out. Can you describe those new games for us really quickly?
Sure. Do you want to do every other and look real cute?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. So Jackbox Party Pack 9 is going to have 5 games in it. Our sequel is Fibbage 4, which is the irreverent trivia question game where you don't need to know the answers. You need to make up a good lie for what could be the answer. This new edition has movie-based questions, fan submissions, and an all-new final round.
That's right. We also have Roomerang, which is a game that's sort of a reality TV show style game where you are trying to come up with the funniest or coolest answers so people vote for you and they vote against everybody else so they don't kick you out of the house. But if they do kick you out, you'll come right back as a different character. So don't worry too much about it.
You also have Junktopia, where an evil wizard has turned you and your friends into a bunch of frogs. The only way out? Sell goods. This is a game where they're going to show you a picture of a hilarious item, and you get to make up a title and some sort of sales pitch for it, trying to convince people that it's really cool by being really funny, and then whoever wins doesn't have to be a frog anymore, and we all have a good time.
That's right. There's Non-Sensory, which is our game about sort of extrasensory, except it's non-sensory perception, where they ask you questions like, draw a bird that is this sleazy, a 7 out of 10, and you have to go, should I have a sleazy jacket? No, that's an 8 out of 10. I can't do that. And people have to guess what number you got when you drew your prompt or wrote your answer, so to see if you have that non-sensory connection with your players.
And then fifth one is Quicksort, which will now be referred to as a game that just burned down PAX. We just played it with a full audience. It was huge. It was super fun to watch because this is our team-based game. So you have 2 people competing against each other. Once again, kind of trivia-focused, but you have to put them in order based on, well, if it's movies, you might have to say earliest to most recent. If it's buildings, you might have to say tallest to shortest, and sort them. And the audience just goes insane as you try to put them on the scale because it's kind of Tetris rules. You go down faster and faster, and you have to put it in time. It creates a tense situation that's really fun for streamers, large audience, or big parties.
That's right.
Yeah.
One of the things that I find so interesting about a lot of the games you make is it's really giving people the tools to kind of create their own good time in a lot of ways, more so than a game that sort of spoon feeds you the jokes and everything like that. Like it's people get a chance to like improvise and sort of think on their feet.
Yeah, that's a real advantage of our the phone-based system is that you get to enter a lot of your own ideas into it. And as a writer, our goal is to set you up to look good, to turn you into a stand-up comedian. So the prompts we kind of give you is hopefully just give you an idea and let you be you and have a lot of fun. And once again, it's just great because Jackbox Games has the tools where you can insert text, we can draw pictures, you can do a whole bunch of stuff through your phone that you can put in and create as your own.
Yeah, that's right. Our goal is to, if we are helping you be funny, to not have you notice that and just go, I was funny all by myself, whereas we're slaving away being like, how do we set them up for the perfect joke? So hopefully it all works out.
Is it difficult to find new questions and new ways to quiz people? Like how much time and effort goes into that, like pre-game?
And that's really good. Like I said, I was the editorial lead on Fibbage 4. That's one of the trivia games, this one. And one lucky thing is stuff keeps happening. So one thing is we have a lot of hilarious, weird, and bizarre stories from the last 3 years since our last Fibbage game. And besides that, by adding new media such as movies and fan submissions, that's whole new pools to draw from. And then games like Quicksort is a new way to ask questions by putting things on timelines as opposed to asking multiple choice or anything we've done before. There's lots of ways to ask questions.
Yeah, of course our roots are in You Don't Know Jack, so we've been around since the 90s to making sort of irreverent trivia games, but we made a new version of You Don't Know Jack a couple of years ago, You Don't Know Jack full stream in Pack 5, and we had to come up with different ways to make it relevant today and make it interesting today in ways that weren't available in the 90s. And then we have Trivia Murder Party, which is sort of we kind of think of it as a successor franchise to You Don't Know Jack kind of way, because it's trivia, but it's also, if you're not good at trivia, there are mini games, you could be good at the mini games and still have a good time with it, so it's not really boxing anyone out.
We really treat that's the idea of not boxing people out. It's like with You Don't Know Jack, there's comedy that kind of obfuscates maybe simpler questions. Trivia Murder Party is a little tougher where you can do the mini games. And then if in Fibbage, you just completely make up things. You don't even have to know the answer. I know when we also wrote for the Poll Mine, for example, we want to make sure that, you're making an opinion, so we want to phrase it in a way you'll have opinion back. We're not going to ask a question specifically about Dune in case you haven't seen it, but we might say, if you were trapped on a planet with space worms, a phrase that would mean something to everyone. Sure. And so that way, the idea is to hit a sweet spot of writing where people recognize the references, but it's not so reference heavy that people get left out.
Yeah. Draw a hat that looks like it could be in Dune.
Exactly.
Even if you haven't seen Dune, you can be like, well, this is a weird movie.
The poster.
Yeah, exactly.
I know what a hat would look like.
Nice. So when you're trying to create a new game, where do you draw from? Like, because you guys have sort of a base template you can work off of. It seems, especially because you're kind of limited in like the way that people can input stuff. But you've come out with like so many party packs and like so many iterations of so many things. Like, yeah, how do you keep it fresh?
I mean, first off, I want to say is like, there is what the controller can do, and one thing that doesn't limit us too much is we're developing new ways to. We have amazing techs designing new features for the controllers. Every party pack since I've started the controller can do more and more. So whereas at first it was maybe just drawing and writing text, now you can slide things back and forth. We have like devils into details, we can perform actions, and even like Quicksort, you're trying to move things around. So that's one way to keep things fresh is like, what else can we do, controller do? How do we make a game around it? The other thing is we play games and just see what is fun for us. A lot of play testing is either online or paper and pencil, and are we laughing? As we come up with a new mechanic, it's great. Now how do we make it fun for everyone, or how do we make it different than what we've seen before?
Yeah, it's a very flat structure, which is cool, which means that anybody can pitch a Jackbox. So regardless of your role, you don't have to be in a particular role to pitch a game. We've had games pitched and made from every role that imaginable, pretty much. And it's great. We are like CJ said, if people are laughing, it's working. Our CEO, Mike Builder, has a thing where when we are in the office together, he will just sort of listen, and if he hears a lot of laughs, he will run and go, "What's this? What's this game? We're gonna have to get this in the next pack." So it's pretty much a very merit-based thing,
And also the idea that sometimes we cook on ideas for a while. Sometimes we have like an idea for a game. It's like, all right, not this pack. Maybe the tech's not there, or maybe we just don't got the mechanics right. And then game pitch comes up, and we have new people, and they bring new ideas, and they may add that one secret spice that makes it delicious. We're a restaurant, right?
Yeah, we are a restaurant. We haven't told CJ what we do. Please don't tell him.
Okay, I think there's another restaurant with the words Jack and Box in it that you might have to contend with. Oh, no.
Yeah, we know. They have all our social media accounts.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, another thing that I've always found great is your hosts and the dialogue for the hosts. Like, what's the process of creating all the dialogue?
Oh, yeah, that's fun. Like, as I said, as a writer, when you create prompts, you want to make other people look good, you want to set them up. But as hosts, that's where you can really put in comedy, really create character and story. And yeah, like when we're game pitching, we kind of create the concept first, and then around that, it's like, okay, what does this feel like? You kind of get like a wrapper for it, and then from there, the host voice generates. And then there, it's kind of even 50-50. You get an idea for a host, you do your auditions, you get a voice, and then that voice brings a lot of personality and kind of changes the writing from there too. Cookie Masterson, one of our big ones, has done games now, and we have such a fuel for Cookie, like who he is. And there's other games like the Trivia Murder Party host, Redacted, is fantastic, and even new ones, M-Bubs, beloved by all. Like we have hosts that just crop up and just. Well, we get a good sense of their character. Once the audience gets a hold of them, they just fall in love with them and find things in them that we didn't even see at first.
Yeah, we hit the fan art of our hosts, because traditionally our hosts aren't seen. Some of them are, a handful are, but a lot of our hosts are just voices. And the fan art of our hosts that our fans draw is always amazing to see, the amount of energy and stuff they put into that. But yeah, I mean, sometimes our hosts are they come out of the game concept of like, if you're on a space station, then a robot would make sense. And sometimes it's something more like Fibbage, where it's like, this could be anybody, we just need somebody with the right energy. And it just sort of comes out of, luckily, being in Chicago, we have access to a lot of really great improvisers, really great comedy scenes, so it's easy to audition some great folks.
Oh, one thing I was like, and also the artist. When the character is shown, I was one of the editorial leads on Push the Button, and we came up with the idea of, okay, it's gonna be a holographic host, and then the writer chose what the form was, and they chose a dodecagon shape. And so we named her Dottie, D-O-D-E, which is Digital Officer During Emergencies, but it stands for dodecagon. It was the writer's idea, the artist's idea to create that shape. So as you can see, it's everybody bouncing off each other to create something like that.
Yeah, the design teams are very collaborative for sure.
Like we get a lot of personality hosts from the art.
That's awesome. So what's it like when you guys come to event like PAX, and interacting with the audience and all of your fans? And like obviously you just had a huge panel in there. like that's a massive reaction. But yeah, what's it like when you're like out in the halls, like interacting with folks?
I love how much people love our games, and it's so exciting to get that feedback. I can wear a Trivia Murder Party costume, and people recognize it. And I chose.
This is how you always dress.
No. But this is the way that I get recognized. Otherwise, I look weird. And I kind of choose it based on which of our games gets the most fan art. And it's like, oh, they love Trivia Murder Party. I'll dress as that. And then it's like a feedback loop of we really enjoy that these things exist, both us creating it and them playing it. And that is just a wonderful circle of happiness to be part of.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the great things is we sort of spend a lot of time in our own little bubble making the games every year, and we do some external testing, but it's in a limited sort of capacity. And then PAX is one of the first times that we get to see it in the real wild with real people playing it, their full, unvarnished reactions. And luckily, it's gone well most of the time. And it's so great to see people like enjoying it, and we like are just watching like hawks.
Yeah.
We both worked on Fibbage this year to be like, is that final round really working? We think it's working, and luckily it's like working, and we're very excited about that.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, your games are constantly good times. I've personally had a ton of fun and a lot of laughs playing them. When are your new games coming out?
Jackbox Party Pack 9 will be out in the fall. We're saying that right now. Catch you by the element of surprise. Historically, they've always come out in the fall, so we're ready right there for the holidays, so you can play with your family in case you don't know what else to do with them. My dad is in his 70s and never played a video game in his life. He loves Jackbox Games. He loves Fibbage. He's very excited for the sequel.
He's okay with you.
Yeah.
You're fine. Yeah, absolutely. We'll be out. The other packs have traditionally come out October-ish, but as soon as we can in the fall, and you'll definitely be playing them in Thanksgiving, before Thanksgiving, I would guess.
Nice. Do you know what consoles? Can you say that yet?
Oh, absolutely. We can definitely say at least PlayStation, Xbox, PC, Nintendo Switch. What else? Steam, yeah.
Stadia? Can we get the Stadia confirmation?
What's the official? Stadia, Fire Stick, Luna. Stadia, Fire Stick, Luna. Thank you, Lev.
All right. And where can folks keep up with everything that you guys are up to?
You can do it on our website, which is
Jackboxgames.com.
I've been saying Jackbox.tv all day, which is where you play the games. Jackboxgames.com is where you find out about our games.
That's right.
Which you'll find out all the games that are coming up in the upcoming pack. The description of that blog post will tell you more about them.
It's also where you can buy them, pre-order them for 10% off if you want to do that.
Great. Well, guys, thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Great chat with you.